Hey folks, Smitty here again, and we're going to be running Windows 2000. Well, what's important about Windows 2000 is that it is a NT operating system. So we've gotten away from DOS with the Windows 98, Windows 95, Windows 3.1, and now we're in the NT, which is a lot like Windows XP. So a lot of us are really familiar with Windows XP, really common, a lot of people had it. A lot of people grew up with it, including myself. But Windows 2000 is kind of a Windows 98 look, but it has more of a Windows XP functionality. You guys will see that. I think you guys will really like how well this thing operates. And I have a few tricks up my sleeve. We're going to try and modernize it a little bit, because I've actually been driving this thing. I actually have this background on it that's the same as my main machine, and we're going to be running it in a VMware Workstation Pro 17.5 VM. Alright folks, we're starting up Windows and let's see how it goes. So, Windows 2000 Professional, built on NT technology. I love this logo. This logo just looks so cool to me. And as you guys can see, it kind of has that Windows 95, 98 kind of look to it. But when it functions, I'll show you guys kind of what's going on here. And I actually have some files that I downloaded that we were able to hopefully drop in there and make them run. So once this thing fires up for us, we should be able to see how that goes. And we're in. So this is my third VM, and we pretty much have a really Windowsy looking environment here. So we have my computer, network places, recycle bin, Internet Explorer. So we're going to go through each of these. I don't think we're really going to get anything out of network places, but surprise, surprise, we actually do get something out of Internet Explorer. I'll show you guys. So let's go to my computer first. The first thing that we're going to do is go into our local disk and see what's in there. So let's just open that up, double click. We have all sorts of cool stuff. We got our program files, and remember, we have to go over here and allow it to show these files. So what do I have? I have 7-zip, I got the Z80 simulator, I got Notepad++, amongst other things. We have some Adobe stuff and some odds and ends that we can go through it. I'll show you what goes on with that. But for the most part, we have a pretty recognizable file explorer here. So it actually took my backgrounds, which I'm very surprised with. These are PNG images. These aren't JPEG, and it still knows what to do with them. So we can go take a look at our documents and see what we have in here. There's some cookies. We got some desktop and stuff like that. Let's hit our start menu and see what we have here. So it looks like in our desktop, or our programs rather, we have Windows Media Player, which was a service pack update. We have Outlook Express, which will no longer be hooked up to any servers. Same thing with MSN Messenger. Internet Explorer is a thing within itself. We'll explore that here in a minute. But let's take a look at some of our startup apps. Doesn't look like we have anything. How about Notepad++? Nothing in that folder, right? Accessories. Well, we got Command Prompt, Imaging, Notepad, a few other things. So let's see if Notepad works. Fires right up. Hello world. And it works, right? So let's let's save that. See if it saves. Save as. Let's just drop it right on. Let's just put it right in C. And it should be retrievable. So when we go back there, we'll see if it's still there. But one thing that we'll explore is also the command prompt. But not right this second. We'll just kind of get into that. Address book. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what we got here. So this is kind of old school. This is probably for like emails. Yeah, so we got like, you know, you'd put somebody's name, and you would fill this thing out so you could get a hold of them. So let's say we had Smitty, title, mechanic, nickname also Smitty. Email address that SmittyDude at outlook.com. Feel free to email me, folks, if you want to see more videos or whatever. And then we could just go ahead and hop in here, and I'm sure there's a way we can maybe email, maybe. Oh yeah, you can conference with them and everything. Look at that. That's so neat. But that's not something I would have used back in the day. What would I have used back in the day? Probably more to games. So maybe we can look into that. So let's go to games now. So start menu, right? And we're going to go to programs, accessories, games. So we have pinball, minesweeper, solitaire, and free cell. So my mother likes free cell. Nobody likes minesweeper. I like pinball, and Dad likes solitaire, right? So I'm sure your family was the same way. But let's take a look at pinball, see if I can remember any of these. Yeah, these controls, man. That one. There we go. Okay, so let's hold the space bar down, see if we can't launch the ball. You guys might be able to hear the audio, but I can't. So, let me know if you can. Actually, when I'm editing, I'll... Oh, wow. That lagged. Yeah, this thing doesn't have the greatest acceleration for graphics, so... It's just how VMs are most of the time. So let's go take a look at Solitaire. So, of course, we got the clownfish here. Let's see if we can't maybe change it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's put the beach. Why not? Just another day at the beach. And, yeah, that can go here, right? Bam. God, this is so familiar. It's been a long time since I played this on a legacy system. But, yeah, we're not going to make the whole video about Solitaire. So, those are a couple games. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them, so it's a little bit of nostalgia for you. Alright, so what is an old legacy system without Adobe Photoshop 6.0? Let's see if this opens up. Man, this is wild. I mean, let's see if we can't open up a file. Open. Maybe we could just open up one of these samples. You know, we got a rubber duck here. That's perfect. Let's see if we can get the background eraser. Look at that. Oh wow. Magic eraser. I didn't even know they had that back then. Oh, it works pretty good too. That's probably why they make that one of the examples. But let's say we wanted to save that file. Save as... I want to save it as a JPEG. And we'll drop it right on the desktop. Why not? Okay. See if it's there. It is. Look at that. That's perfect. So, Photoshop, it works. Let's try Illustrator. It's going to be brutal. Illustrator was not fun to work with. So, let's see if we can't... There it is. See if we can't play with Illustrator a little bit, because Illustrator, even in today's day and age, is tough if you don't know what you're doing. But this one, there's a lot of features that are stripped right out of it that we didn't have back then. So let's see if we can't open up maybe... Yeah, there's some sort of sample picture there. Some dude at the starting grid. I don't know, maybe we should put a little box there. And maybe another box here, so it's kind of like a checkered checkered flag. Wow, that's terrible. And then the race is on, right? So we're probably going to have to... man, I don't know if we can... Yeah, there's the fill. Can we change the fill color? Yeah, but not to the... Well, I guess we're going to have a pink checkered flag. Yeah, that's changing the... Oh, there we go. That's how we do it. That's what we want right there. Just make it all zeros. Yeah, we got a checkered flag for the guy who's going to do some racing. And let's see if we can't save that to the desktop. It's probably an Illustrator. Yeah, I'll just save it as an Illustrator document. And I'll close out of it, and it's there. And it's going to have to open up Illustrator to get back to it. But notice how fast it runs. Like, that is surprising how fast this operating system is able to handle all of that data, which is super impressive. Like, even XP would stumble on itself sometimes, but that works so well that I've hardly had any issues with it, and I've been playing with this for 2 weeks now. So let's go play around with something else. So let's go to Internet Explorer. So I promised you guys that we'd play around with that. You guys would think, well, Internet Explorer doesn't work anymore, so what's the point? Well, it does work. So we can go to HTTP websites, and we can go to the old web and go all sorts of places. But this is a website I'd like to share with you guys. I'm not like sponsored by these guys or anything. I think they're just doing this for just to help people out, honestly. But this is WindowsUpdateRestored.com, and we can go to Windows Update 5. Wasn't really working for me, but we can go to 4 here. I can show you guys what's going on. I've already downloaded these updates, but what it does is you can allow it to do what it's got to do, right? And it'll scan for updates on your computer, and you can use that to determine what updates we need. Kind of like the old days. This is how you would do it. So let's say we wanted to do like a cumulative security update. Why not? And yeah, sure. Let's just go ahead and install that. And it brings up the box to install it for you. It's fairly quick. I mean, it's not blazing fast, but as far as Windows 2000, we're like in the late 90s, early 2000s kind of situation, it's plenty fast. And I'm running this on a VM, so we are kind of running internet through my host computer to get this to run. And I dropped that other mouse, sorry. Let's allow that to run in the background here. And just kind of see what other stuff we have here. So we really don't have much going on in the network places because it's all dial-up. This is set up for dial-up. And that's kind of what's neat about this is we've gone to the end of dial-up and we've started broadband here in this era. And trying to get the drivers installed to get this thing on the internet wasn't easy. It's super confusing. Update. It's still updating. Stay tuned. And of course, we have to restart. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me show you guys how this works. So you go to OK, and it's just going to go ahead and restart for you. Typically, when you were to restart older systems, it would shut down and it would tell you it's okay to turn off the computer. In this case, it actually shuts down like XP. It actually shuts it right down for you. You don't have to turn off the computer. Everything goes by itself. and then it reboots, of course. In this case, of course, it's going to reboot for us because we told it to restart, but it would shut down all by itself. And it's common for these NT systems to do that, and it's just a nice feature to have. And when this thing boots back up, we'll play with some more stuff. And we're back to net.pui.vm3. So what else can we do with this thing? So we did some games, we did some Internet Explorer, we played with Photoshop and all sorts of stuff. So what else can we do with it? Well, another neat function of this is it runs Office, of course. So we can get our Excel sheet up, and we can do all sorts of stuff. 2 and 2, and that's going to equal this one plus this one. And let's see if that runs. Yeah. Yep, that works just fine. So if we change this to like 5, it'll do it for us. Yep, just Excel, just like usual. And Clippy down here. How's it going, Clippy? What are you up to, buddy? Do I want to save my changes? No, I'm not interested. Thank you, though. It's always good to have him around. But, so let's take a look at some other like open source software, some like freeware here. So Notepad++, my favorite, man. Like, we wrote some assembly code earlier. We'll be able to edit it. Everything works exactly the way it does on a modern system, and that works so well. And I love that. So part of this is that it's running on the NT shell, so it's not thinking it's DOS and kicking it out of operation, which is super nice. So let's take some packages I got on the internet and see if we can't drop them in here and get them to run. So let's start by just giving it the old VMware Tools drag and drop. And notice how these are zipped archive files. I'll show you that 7-zip works just fine on this. So it's good to have that feature as well, so that we can use a nice extraction tool. So they show up like this, how zip files show up. So we can extract to an archive, and we can open it up and see what's in here. So let's see if we can't get an auto run. Is that what this is? That's an exe file, right? Some of these are like some Explorer files, but it does like to extract everything manually. We'll see if it runs. I'm not entirely sure if it will, but I haven't even tried these yet, so you're learning with me. And okay, so we got a nice unofficial Service Pack 5.1. I agree. Sure. And we'll see if our service pack installs. And so this should be able to get us up to like almost a Windows Vista, Windows 7 kind of operation. So the end of Windows XP. I know XP was going on a long time after that, but it was a good, it gets us through XP is what this is doing. This gives you all the software capabilities of running anything newer up to like 07, I believe, is what this one does. I could be wrong on that, but it's good to have that. And maybe while that's installing, we can set that aside and maybe extract something else while we're waiting. So that's unofficial Service Pack 5.1. This is HF slip, which I think you're supposed to put in with the ISO file, but I could be wrong. So we'll open it up anyway and see what happens. And obviously I don't recommend opening up zip files unless you know what's inside. But in this case, we're in a virtual machine, we're safe, and we have some researched packages here. Whether they're in English or not, we don't really know, because some of these come from different kinds. Like that's a batch file right there. I don't know, let's see if it runs. In this case, okay, so we added some more files. I don't really know what else there is. Yeah, there's like a 7-zip. It's like a boot file. I don't know. This isn't really... It might not be for me. But we do have the unofficial Service Pack 5.1 installing, which is what I'm mostly here for. And now we can also hit up this Windows 2000. This is an extended kernel, so this should be able to make certain programs run with the kernel 32 DLL requirement. It takes the requirement away, essentially, is what that's doing. So you'll get some programs that will give you that error saying we couldn't find kernel 32.dll or DLL. I actually have one of those programs. I believe it was in program files somewhere. And I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Z80 Simulator, because I took... Or maybe it was user DLLL, or DLL, sorry. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't this. There was something that wasn't working the way I wanted it to. And I had to take it out of the kernel and put it in here. Then it still didn't work because it still didn't recognize it. And it was a whole pain in the rear. But once this is done downloading and doing its thing and updating and backing up files, whatever it does, I'll be back. Alright, I went and grabbed a liquid death, so now we have a prompt to restart. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. Holy crap, it actually booted up. So let's see, what do we got here? Programs. Did we get anything else? Accessories, maybe. I don't know, maybe. I got a script thing, some other stuff, imaging. I don't know, let's play around with command prompt, see what we could do there. Maybe not. Oh yeah, it did work. Huh. So SFC scan now works. Required must be copied to... Oh, I gotta install my CD. Alright, well it doesn't like that. So let's cancel this out and call it a day. I think it's time, folks. What do you think? Will it run NR 2003? Let's find out. So let's go over to Start, go to our Programs, and luckily it's right here. And this, NR 2003. Okay, it's a good sign. I bet it's gonna run like crap. They always run like crap in a VM. Well, they have taken the green flag. It will run NR 2003. Boy, it runs it awful. What do you think? We're getting a frame every second here. Bill Elliott's gonna come down and hit him. Wow, that's brutal. But hey, it runs, so it is what it is. You know, I can't argue with that. Alright, so obviously our operating system still runs good, and that's just the way it is. It's just VMs and 3D graphics. I am not good with it, so my apologies on that, but it does run. And while we're here, let's see if we can't hop into regedit. Oh no, let's see if we can't spell it right. And we do have Okay. Oh wow, we have 3.1 migration settings. Codec is in here. Interesting. Huh. All sorts of Microsoft, Windows scripting. We got all sorts of stuff here. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty full operating system. It's got all the features, that's for sure. I don't know, does it have, yeah, it has the phone dialer. I mean, hell. It has everything. So, obviously, folks, I mean, you wouldn't daily drive this, but if you really wanted to, there are some more packages that you could download and make that work. But of course, for us, maybe that's not the right tool for the job. And I don't know. I wish you luck trying to play with this yourself. Have fun with it, man. I love this operating system. It runs really well, and it's on the NT shell, and it's not XP, so it makes it just a little bit more unique. But XP, of course, my favorite. But this runs awesome.